So we're coming into a pretty rare sky, something we see only every 60 or so years. And it can bring you a time of prosperity and growth and goodness with stability, caution, and reliability. In other words, it's kind of a very rare kind of power. And that's because Saturn, who's now in Pisces, will form a sextile to Jupiter, or Jupiter forms a sextile to Saturn as Jupiter moves through the sign of Taurus. And this energy is something we last saw in 1964 in the month of April, and before that in 1858, and before that in 1799. So as you can see, it's not that common. So because of that, we're going to pay attention to how this will work for you, given your rising sign, sun or moon, between June the 14th and the 22nd, when this energy is the most active. Now, it is kind of broadly opening up as an energy around June the 8th or 9th, and it really kind of doesn't fully close out maybe until June the 28th. But the nugget, the exact time is really around June the 19th. So as we get closer to, approaching June the 19th and leaving June the 19th, in your sign, in your chart, in your life, based on your rising sign, you're going to find this is going to be a very positive time. So first of all, if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I am using whole sign houses, as are, by the way, all astrologers on YouTube in terms of how they're delineating for you. And I'm also using Hellenistic, Babylonian, and traditional tools. I am not using, new agey stuff. I actually want you to be able to use the sky as a navigational tool. So it's not about the psychology of the sky. It's about the predictive value of the sky. If you like this kind of thing, consider subscribing to my channel. Remember always that this is going to be bell curve astrology for the average person who's a Aries, Taurus, Gemini. Rising is always most accurate. You can listen for your sun and your moon. Sun can be father and career and purpose. Moon can be home, safety, emotions, and mother. But the ascendant, the rising sign, is really all about you. If you don't know your rising sign, you can cast your chart in whole sign houses using my free tutorial below in my links in my description box. And all you need is your birth time. Okay, let's get going and talk about the sky. And everything you need to know about me is in my description box. Classes I'm teaching, courses I'm giving, my Patreon community who gets all videos, early access, ad-free, and 2 meetings a month with me. Alrighty. So anything like that interests you, check the description box below. Let's get going. So let's talk about the nature of this energy between Saturn and Jupiter. I mean, Saturn is like stoic, reliable, conservative, perseverant, the Lord of restriction and constriction when it's necessary, rules. Okay. You can take the energy of Jupiter and kind of think of wanting to expand, to blow things up, to make things good, prosperous, to be good in general, wise and true, to be the guru. Jupiter is a good guy. You know what I'm saying? So this energy is Jupiter, all big and good and dandy, so to speak, in Taurus, Venus's sign. And as he's moving through Taurus, it's going to be around the 7th degree of Taurus. That what will happen is that Saturn moving through Pisces, which is behind him, who is, by the way, moving retrograde as of the 17th of June, I'll have a separate video on that, comes into formation with Jupiter in what is called a sextile. Sextiles are flowing, easy, generous, grace-filled energies. They're the nature of Venus herself, just as a trine is the nature of Jupiter, a square is the nature of Mars. An opposition is the nature of Saturn in ancient astrology. So when you think of Venus, you think of love and ease and grace and goodness and kindness and fairness and peace, right? So Jupiter is also a benefic. And so he's a good guy receiving a flowing energy with his connection to Saturn. So I'm going to show you a picture of the sky, and then we're going to do the all signs. I'm not going to delineate too much about mundane astrology here. It could temporarily stabilize things like currencies, banking, and financial markets, because Jupiter in Taurus can be about those kinds of monetary and currencies, especially systems. Okay. And as you can see, I'll annotate for you. If you guys are new to astrology, I'll give you a little annotation here. Where's my annotation button? Here we go. That's Jupiter. And you can see that Jupiter is on the north node of fate, and the fate north node's moving this way because it is always moving in that contrary motion to the direction that Jupiter's moving, which is this way. And you can see that Jupiter and the north node are talking with Saturn here, and Saturn is moving this way. Okay, so he's moving away from Jupiter, and they become exactly co-joined around the 19th in terms of degrees. You'll notice that over here is the south node of fate, which is Rahu. It's about karma. It's maybe about past lives. It's about letting go and surrendering. And look what this creates. I should have put this exactly on June the 19th. It would be useful for you. Let me do that. It might even give you a delineation. Well, on the 19th, this is going to look a lot more exact. So just trust me on that. There's a wedge forming in the sky here. Look at my drawing. It's so bad. The wedge, okay? Now, the wedge is basically like a door stopper. And what that does is it means the tension between the nodes of fate and Saturn are being, the kinetic tension breaking energy is this planet Saturn. So Saturn's playing a very important role in the sky around the 19th of June. And again, building up the 14th to the 22nd, all said and done. So Saturn could be trying to stabilize, be realistic and cautious, steady and reliable about some kind of expansion that Jupiter wants to make in your life. Yet we want Saturn to be all of those things. And because he's retrograde, he may be going back over some area of your life where there was something that you need or want to expand, especially since May the 16th, when Jupiter entered into your 7th house, and Saturn's giving you the appropriate amount of brakes in order to put the brakes on, apply the brakes so that you don't go too quickly. The south node is sitting over here. It's on the asteroid Wuhan. I wasn't sure I was going to cover this, but I'll mention it. You know, Wuhan is about military conquest. It's an asteroid that pre-existed Wuhan, as in lab leak in China and all of that. You can go with Wuhan as being an indication of the city of Wuhan, maybe in terms of the whole Chinese disclosure or not about what may have really happened in Wuhan, where there was a viral research lab. That could be something coming through in a positive way, with Jupiter acting on this as a legal issue. Jupiter is about legalities and law and justice in that sense. So we may be seeing something coming through to do with legal and ramifications or justice maneuvers around things that happened in the pandemic itself, whether it was where the virus came from, or about the measures taken to deal with the virus, because you can see Neptune, which rules viruses and strange illnesses, and sometimes pandemics and foodborne illness and mysterious illness, and also deception and manipulation. You can see him sitting here with Saturn, right, co-present. So the other thing that could happen here, maybe something to do with any of the ongoing war energies in the world, like Ukraine and Russia, because overthrow of an emperor is a part of the Wuhan mythology. And so there's a military energy with Wuhan. So the south node on Wuhan could drip away or end or release or surrender or complete or mean a loss in a war. And Jupiter would be about prevailing and perhaps their whole sextile with Jupiter and Saturn is something about, let's make some really good solid gains from some kind of war situation. I'm just guessing. And then lastly, you can see that Venus is in Leo with Mars at the top of the sky. And this energy is Venus going to be playing out there until, wow, a long, long time, guys, October the 8th. And so Venus up here in Leo is looking over at Jupiter in her kingdom. Mars is looking at the south node Wuhan in his kingdom. Right. So there's a lot of people looking at their kingdoms, and Saturn is in Jupiter's kingdom. So I guess I'd say something like, it's quite possible here, as a buck stops somewhere, that Jupiter's trying to please Venus, and Venus is sitting next to the god of war. And what does she love? She loves peace. There's going to be some kind of peace negotiation or de-escalation, I hope, of what may be difficult warlike conditions in some place in the world, sometime, I hope, between the 14th and the 22nd, with an epicenter on the 19th. I just hope that there's not some calamity that brings this on, because Uranus at 21 degrees of Taurus can be about unexpected and shocking things. Okay, so there you go. We're going to do all signs. Give me a minute. I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to read a bit of Ren Butler's book, and I'm going to open the window in my apartment because it is so hot. I'll be right back. So I'm about to read a bit of Jupiter and his relationship to Saturn based on one of my teachers. This is archetypal astrology teacher Ren Butler, his amazing book, The Archetypal Universe by Ren Butler. And when I would like to share with you some of the things he says about it in terms of the general themes of this. And if you like artisanal earrings, my friend Milena from Vancouver does amazing work, and you can get her stuff online at Etsy and Shopify. I wonder if I could show it to you any closer than I am, to give you a close up of this earring. Hang on. But I've been helping promote her work in the month of, as Venus goes into the Leo at the top of, well, depends on whose sky. I've been sharing her work for this month because Venus rules jewelry. Well, anyway, there you go. It's kind of cool. It looks like a mushroom. I like it because it looks like a mushroom. All right. No, I don't do magic mushrooms. All right. So here we go. Jupiter, Saturn. Here's the principles of Jupiter, Saturn. Virtues of maturity and balance, integrity and perspective, a regard for quality over quantity, a step-by-step improvements, solid rewards earned over time, because Saturn is Chronos, the Lord of time, an understanding of the positive sides of adversity and challenge. Okay, that's the positive. And I'm not going to read the negative because this is a positive sextile, and therefore it is a very positive energy in the sky. All right. Like he uses archetypes of this, the golden mean, the goddess of justice, lawgiver deities, yes, lawgivers, restorers of moral order, such as Ma'at in Egypt and Tiamat in Babylon, and Themis in Greece, and Vishnu in India, and Yahweh in Judeo-Christianity. So Saturn, tradition, Jupiter, lawgiver, these religions are thus of that nature. The goddess of wisdom, Sophia, or Minerva in Rome, can also be archetypes of Jupiter, Saturn energy. He does have a separate section where he talks about what happens when you combine Jupiter and Saturn with other planets. But in this case, it's really just Jupiter and Saturn talking to each other. Okay. So we're going to do the all signs, and I'm going to show you the sky as I whip around and do the all signs because it helps my sister timestamp. On my much longer videos, you'll note that I do give you a different background. If you come into this to watch this when it's live on the premiere, all you have to do is look to the sign on this side of the picture, and that'll tell you what sign are we on, and there's timestamps and chapters, both. Those don't work in the first few minutes after this video, after it's premiered live. It's about maybe 40 minutes to an hour afterward do the timestamps sync with the video. So a lot of times I hear you guys telling me it's wrong. It's not actually. By the way, I'm being impersonated on Instagram. It's been reported. It's probably going to happen here on YouTube. I'm not going to solicit you or directly contact you for a reading or to ask for you to pay me money for any kind of special thing. Okay. If that happens, if I'm reaching out to you for that, it's definitely not me. And again, check my description box, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you're in the live premiere, don't forget as well, please support my channel, growing now about 3,500 subscribers last month, pacing around that much a month lately. So thanks for the help, guys. I appreciate it. My goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It'll be a miracle if I can do that, but I'm at 31,000 as I record for my Patreon community on June the 9th. And at some point it's coming into the public with ads. So if you're watching on YouTube, you got it a bit later than everyone else, if not a lot later than everyone else. Okay, so we're going to move this to the part that I want. I'm going to move us back to more precise June 19th, and we're going to go. Okay. And it's really hard to see this wedge, but it is here. There's the wedge. All right. Now, okay, drum roll, please, for the Aries, sun, moon, and rising sign people. If you are an Aries, which you are because you're listening, right? Then this is going to be the movement of Jupiter through Taurus, where he'll be till next year, the third week of May. He got here the second week of May this year, and he's going to blow you up in your finances. Yes, sun, moon, and rising will all feel it in different ways. Aries moon might have a security glow up around home and nest, and sun may be having a career and purpose glow up. But certainly Aries rising have just a classic resources and money increase as Jupiter moves in the next year through your second house. And here's the first thing he decides to do. By the way, a little rags to riches too. Next April, when you're going to have a bolt or jolt of amazing and exciting energy in your money house. Go listen to my Jupiter through Taurus video. But in the meantime, it's in my playlist. In the meantime, this sky opens up a doorway between Saturn in your 12th house and Jupiter in your second. This is a doorway that says something along the lines of, you can expand and grow and prosper, Jupiter, financially, as long as you're considering Saturn's mandates in the 12th house. Saturn in the 12th house would say things like, Steady as she goes as you accrue revenue from foreign shores. Steady as you go as you cobble together plans and architectural blueprints of your success in backroom deals and negotiations. Or steady as the prosperity goes in any kind of way in which you solicit a foreigner to involve yourself in your earning strategy. Now, also, food that you put in your mouth belongs to the second house. Jupiter here can make you very wanting to overeat, overindulge, overdrink. And Saturn is putting on some long-lasting breaks. It can look for some people like a strategy to come into moderation with any kind of food or substance abuse. And if you're determined to do that, during this time of June 14th, let's say to the 22nd, you could put in place a long-term life strategy with a reminder this is something that doesn't happen often. Next is 2083. So like me as an Aries sun and moon, I might find my wine lover's middle way and be determined to keep a path of moderation, which I pretty well have by most people's standards, but I can increase my moderation for sure. And Jupiter will bless you in all things to do with your face, basically, and your jaw. As he moves through the second house, you could get, a beautiful face in the next year, or redo your jaw, or get your teeth fixed, or something like that. And that's wonderful. But Saturn here is like, and how do we do this in a steady and progressive way? We're not going to rush in and do like in a massive fixer upper of the face and overnight. It's a little bit step by step and incremental. That's how you're going to win the day. Certainly Jupiter, Rahu, the North Node Jupiter here is really going to help you expand your finances, especially until Rahu leaves this part of your chart on July 18th. Oops, sorry guys. I meant to go by hours, not days. We're moving the clock, the real-time clock forward, as Adam Ellenbus says, my former Hellenistic astrology teacher, with whom I learned Hellenistic astrology in 2018. Alrighty, but I was an astrologer before that, but that new astrology. Let's go Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. So for you guys, the energy here is going to be the movement of Jupiter through the house of you until next year, until the 24th of May, happens every 12 years only. It's a sweet glow up for you, to say the very least, of what would be your sense of magnanimous, leaderful, joyful, optimistic, and hopeful essence. You're now in the throes of a newfound optimism, and this newfound optimism will be creeping up and growing bigger and bigger and bigger over the next year. It really depends on the degree of your ascendant. If your rising sign, especially Taurus, is in the first 10 degrees of Taurus, you really feel it, including your sun. Faith, hope, and optimism, bigness, luck, and opportunity are upon you. Now, you can say that around June 14th to the 22nd, with a focal point on the 19th, you may come into a time in which you are particularly fortunate. And that's because Saturn is in the house of good spirit, where he can bring windfalls, pennies from heaven, great gains from your career. This could also be a lasting great gain from your career. You could get an up level, a promotion, a raise, even from the 11th house Saturn transit. Sometimes also you get some kind of favor from an elder sibling or a friend who is blessing you. And between June 14th and 22nd, this is not just a minor blessing. Saturn is in Jupiter's house, and he wants to make Saturn wants to make Jupiter happy. Venus in the fourth house of legacy wealth can also speak to the possibility of this being about some kind of bequeathment or some kind of money coming from somebody in your family, from your mother perhaps, or your father. It doesn't have to be they're dying or anything. It can just be a gift. So you're getting some success in the finances for sure, just by proxy of the Venus in the fourth house position. Jupiter is also the ruler of your 8th house of chunky money. Again, that can be inheritance money, but it can also just be money coming to you from a tax rebate or some unexpected chunk in a financially lucrative way. Pennies from heaven coming from Saturn, honestly, be more like a drip of good money. Like, the government says we're going to give you this much money over 20 years and it's going to come in a steady way or something like that. But it's really good for finances here as well. If you need to get a mortgage or secure a loan, this can also be super auspicious for wonderful terms that feel very lucky. And anytime an elder friend wishes to do you a favor, this is one of those few times, June the 14th to the 22nd, where a friend who's older than you, specifically quite older, Saturn, or quite an age difference like the elder, will really greatly benefit you. Someone may try to lend you a hand, June 14th to the 22nd. Again, it can be about property, land, real estate, rentals, and it could even be about chunky money, including money from your mom or dad. Alrighty? Depends on how old they are and you are, I guess. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like button if you're in the live premiere. All right. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. Well, guys, this is going to be this once every 60 odd years transit of Jupiter sextiling Saturn in this particular array. Jupiter is moving through your 12th house, where he's been since the middle of May, and it will be until the third week of May next year. This is going to give you the opportunity to travel to distant lands, to learn something new that you're really curious about, to explore and expand your prosperity from revenue generated from foreign lands, to be bolsterously yay you if you want a guru. Jupiter here can bring spiritual teachers as well as practical teachers. Saturn in the 10th house sextiling, as he's retrograde, is going back over some old ground, perhaps, where there's something in your career path behind you that you're readdressing because you want to stabilize it. You want to have it grow into more longer term goodness, whether it's from a foreign land or you're just cobbling together some backroom strategies. Jupiter here can do that. But Saturn's kind of going retrograde to ask you, what do you need? He's retrograde for quite a while until November. What do you need in order to, what do you need to go back and redo? What do you need to assess? What do you need to slow down and take a pause on in the career space so that you can formulate and create a longer lasting, more reliable and durable foundation? Some of you, it could be a learning that you need to take in order to go forward. Some of you, it could be something to do with going backwards in order to make contact with foreign country people that are going to be involved in your business or in your career. Having Venus as the owner of the Jupiter house in your third house, and also with Mars, may somewhat indicate an opportunity for travel emerging between June 14th and June 22nd, or it even starts a little earlier, like June 9th. But if you are traveling during that time, and some of you will be, or contacting siblings, aunts, uncles, and nieces and cousins, or signing up for an online course, Venus is in charge of all of that. And travel will be full of passion here. Venus, Mars, this is the cosmic lovers. Some of you may, because Jupiter's in the house of bed pleasures, take an exciting trip that week. But because of Saturn, something about that trip is really stabilizing your 10th house. Now, depending if your midheaven is there, this could be the house of weddings. So maybe a good getaway romantic trip can stabilize a long-term love story, especially because Venus rules your house of sexuality and romance in your chart. And Jupiter, by the way, who's opening up that lovely sextile to retrograde Saturn, Jupiter also is the exaltation lord for your second house of earnings and your seventh house of marriage. So earnings and marriage can stabilize in a new and reliable way from some journey you take, or some learning you take, or some contact you have with extended family or siblings, and also just a travel idea. All righty, let's get oh, by the way, dreams at night too. Maybe Jupiter can give you an eureka, through some kind of vision, trance, or dream while you are in this window of the 14th to the 22nd of June. Cancer, sun, moon, rising. Jupiter is in his transit through your 11th house since May 16th, and will be there till third week of May next year. This is a glow up. Jupiter in the house of his joy will increase your prosperity, your gains from your career, your reputation and influence. Your social circles can vastly expand, and you might find yourself also very lucky financially with some unexpected prosperity that could come from a friend, ally, lucky break, or elder sibling. All of that said, Saturn is in his once every 60 year sextile to this Jupiter in Taurus, and this is a friendly conversation. What kind of financial or work or career gains glow up will be actualized or available to set something in motion that's long time and durable and enduring. between the 14th and 22nd of June. Saturn could get you to go back to school, to go back and get an education in a higher academic setting, to sign up for a longer mentorship type of education. Some of you may also be planning to take a trip with an elder sibling, or in a third marriage, you may be consolidating some kind of vision and shared plans. These are possibilities for the 14th to the 22nd of the month. Now, Venus, who's basically where Jupiter sits, it's her house. She's very busy thinking about money and trying to help you not just spend money. Someone said, oh no, someone told me Venus in my second is going to make me spend money. That's absolutely not true. Mars will do that. Mars loves to spend, and he's also a self-starter. Venus will help you have refined tastes about your possessions, and maybe even have money blessings. She's a goddess of money in the money house for you. And as she's concerned with your money, because maybe you feel like you're spending, not making, because of Mars here, since, I don't know, Mars has been there for a few weeks and leaves on July 10th. May 20th to July 10th, and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm spending, but I'm not making. Venus is balancing that out until the end of the summer, until October. But during this transit, she's saying something along the lines to Jupiter, I'm all about the money, honey. Let's help this Cancer rising, especially Sun, Moon secondarily, prosper, live long and prosper. Saturn agrees with it, but Saturn says be in alignment with your Dharma, be in alignment with your purpose, be in a true north alignment. That's one of the meanings of the house of God, the ninth house. Certainly, if you're looking for a spiritual guide, this could also bring you a very positive new spiritual teacher in the 14th to 22nd of June, epicenter of the 19th. Finally, Jupiter is also the Lord of, exaltation Lord of your first house, which means he flows to that Cancer house and he suggests a great deal of glow up in your sense of well-being and maybe your physical vitality and health from the 14th to the 22nd by maybe taking up a meditation practice, right? Saturn sextiles Cancer, maybe by taking up some long enduring form of spiritual philosophy that nurtures and nourishes you and makes you feel really whole. Jupiter is definitely on the ball to support you to do that. All right, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please hit the like button if you're in the live premiere, guys. You guys have this Jupiter through the 10th house of reputation and visible career actions everyone sees you do in the world. You will be blessed by very lucky breaks in your career path until next May 2024. And as this lucky blessing in your work career space is happening, you're going to experience the once every 60-year sextile from Saturn in the sign of Pisces to Jupiter in Taurus between the 14th and 22nd of June. This is going to create some kind of likely financial goodness with shared resources with business partners, taxes, mortgages, inheritances, and that kind of 8th house money, unearned income or unearned money. And it's going to really flow in your career space as well. Sometimes it could look like a retirement package, a severance package, if that's what you're looking to get, or it can look like an opportunity to get bonus money in work, a sudden chunk of money. If you're self-employed, it's a whole different story, and Jupiter does rule the house of self-employment. So this can be some kind of really great development regarding how money can be more reliably taxed, for instance. Taxes are the 8th house in a way that sustains greater joy and prosperity and ease in your life. Because Venus is the house of you're charming, persuasive, beautiful, lovable, Miss Congeniality, Mr. Popular right now. This is going to be true until October. Ask and ye shall receive, seduce, persuade, and bat your eyelashes, or whatever you want to do. You tend to be very much capable right now of persuasion, and people are liking you a lot, and you feel good about yourself. And this transit's rare. It's 4 months. You last had Venus here in 2015, June through October, and now she's doing it again. Mars is with her. They don't actually touch. She's chasing him, but it gives you a lot of passionate energy and sizzle within your very being. You might be feeling oh so sexy, all right, during this transit. I like this energy of Venus, though, because she's trying to support your Jupiter glow up with reliable financial gains coming down the chute from it. Like, I don't know what to say. Maybe you're going to renegotiate a business contract that is going to outpicture in a chunk of money that was owed to you, or all that vacation pay that you never got. But June 14th to 22nd, that's a light touch. We're talking about like almost setting a new pace for you when it comes to career and chunky money stories. And your 8th house is your retirement money as well. Because Jupiter is also the owner of your, or the ruler of your 5th house, this can definitely activate some kind of developments financially with your children, developments with a lover that may involve finances connected to 8th house money, shared resources with your children or your romantic partner. You could also experience a sort of sidebar energy of, Jupiter saying, well, I also exalt you in the 12th house. And so do you want to take a trip to a foreign land and use your retirement money? Or do you want to have a glow up financially? Because you're going to source more revenue by having customers, clients, or significant revenue streams from foreign shores from your birthplace. That could be something that's developing as a thrust in the sky, June 14th to the 22nd. But remember, we're looking for this as a long-term, reliable new direction that you're going to kind of harness that 8th house, 10th house sextile over the next few years even, because this only happens once every 60 years. All right, Virgo, sun, moon, and rising sign. If you're a Virgo, you're experiencing this Jupiter transit through your 9th house. This is the house of God, and Jupiter's quite happy, like a preacher on a pulpit up here. You may also be drawn to go to church, find a spiritual teacher or religious philosophy or meditation practice, for all I know, between May of this year and May of next year. And so this is a longer term narrative, but in our once every 60-year window of time, here comes Saturn in the 7th house of marriage and business partnerships and the audience, clients and others. Certainly Jupiter's in the house of churches, and he may try to stabilize an existing relationship towards marriage proposals or deeper legal and binding commitment. He's a god of law in the 9th house. This is especially true if it's a third marriage. Look for those themes. June the 14th to the 22nd, or a third would-be marriage. Saturn here can make your marriage partnership hard, and he'll be here for 3 years, but he's trying to create a better foundation. So really harness this June 14th to the 22nd. If you're in a troubled or difficult or stagnant relationship, Saturn wants to go the distance and make your dreams come true in that relationship with Neptune. And now he's getting some support from Jupiter on the 14th and 22nd to really bring some more magnanimous, joyful vibe to the story. Jupiter could indicate a foreign travel opportunity emerging with your significant other in business or love, or some kind of perhaps glow up in an academic environment that is also supporting some longer term either legal strategy or relationship strategy in your life. Finally, visas and passports are up in the 9th house as far as foreign land travel, as I said, but court matters. If you're a Virgo and you're dealing with any court case issues, then Jupiter is going to help you win in the next year. But also Saturn here says like the perfect long-standing, enduring vow, contract, or agreement or settlement between June 14th and 22nd. Some of you definitely could be looking at planning a wedding, a destination wedding, or talking way more seriously about legal commitments of some sort with your significant other. This is not a transit necessarily connected to new relationship. However, Venus in the house of bed pleasures in the 12th, owning that Jupiter, a romantic getaway filled with foreign lands and bed pleasures could be in the offing between June 14th and 22nd, and or the plans being put in place. Because Saturn is about structure and planning. Yeah, and Jupiter is the exaltation lord of your 11th house of friendships and also gains from your career. And there can be some collateral benefits there because Saturn and Jupiter are making an aspect to your 11th. So you could have some really nice solidification of longer term friendships into a more joyful and prosperous and happy arrangement. Same applies to the words elder sibling. Alrighty, Libra, sun, moon, and rising. So Jupiter is moving for the first time in 12 years this May through to next May in your 8th house of chunky money. That's money from unearned income. So you can go all over the map here: investment, stocks, inheritances. This is an inheritance transit. Not going to lie. Jupiter through the 8th can bring legacy wealth, inheritance, money. So keep that in mind, because Saturn is in a sextile to Jupiter here on the 14th to the 22nd. Saturn rules your 4th house of the home and the family of origin. So you may be an opportunity to pay off a debt because of money mom or dad give you, or a family member of some sort. Or you may also find yourself receiving news of some inbound money that comes from some sort of inheritance of some kind. Saturn in the 6th house is a very good timing and placement for securing a new rental, finding a new job. If you find a new job, you may get a bonus sign-on payment or some chunk of money between the 14th and the 22nd, with epicenter on the 19th. Also, you do have the possibility here with Venus in your 11th house as the ruler of where Jupiter sits, expanding your great gains from your career. So not just maybe a sign-up bonus or some chunk of money or a new job with more money in general, but it could be, buying our stock in our company or whatever, but also something to do with greater financial gain, a raise, a promotion, or a more lucrative job, some new kind of perk in the current job, or some new job that's really good for you. Jupiter is the ruler or owner of, your Cancer 10th house of career and reputation, and he's getting steady, reliable stability financially for growth for Saturn in your 8th. But because he rules that reputation house, he can spill some of that goodness into creating a new kind of glow in your career and reputation space, a little flare of goodness and maybe pride for you between June the 14th and the 22nd. I don't know that you want a pet, but if you're looking for a pet, Saturn, Jupiter in that flow, because you need to buy, expensive breed or something, can make it easy to do that. Saturn's trying to break up some tension between the nodes of fate. I really didn't talk about that for the most part for everyone, but the idea would be, maybe we need to make some kind of breakthrough regarding too much hustles and earnings and too much focus on inheritances. Well, no, too much earnings hustle, time to focus more on legacy wealth or making money, and pull back a little from hustle. That's another way of coding this guy. Alrighty. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising. Jupiter is moving through your 7th house of your main partnership, love and business. And he's going to try to bless you, and your partner can have collateral benefits until next May, the 3rd week of May. This just started right in the middle of this May. And so this is a long-term, really beautiful prosperity and luck in your significant love story. And if you're alone, it can bring in a new partner as well, as this marriageable husband or wife-like quality over the next year. As this sky unfolds in its once every 60-year vibe, Saturn in the 5th house can bring in a few things. Saturn sextile in Jupiter can be, if you're an artist, a contract, a legal agreement for something you've written or created or made into an artistic form, and you got an agent or a contractor, somebody supporting you, etc. This can also outpicture as something to do with some positive developments with a child and a stability of the relationship. This also can look like potentially something to do with how you wish to create a foundation for your own independent business enterprise. And Jupiter is someone coming into the story June 14th to 22nd, if you're an entrepreneur, and giving you an opportunity. Those are examples. When Jupiter's in the 7th house, your partner gets love and business, gets collateral glow. So your partner may be love and business having some lucky breaks occurring the 14th to the 22nd that help stabilize things to do with the 5th house. 5th house is pregnancy as well and having children. And so if that's a thought you've been having, this could be a turning point in conditions that are needed in order to feel safe and certain, and because there's a lot of caution around pregnancy when Saturn's here, can play out. Saturn is retrograde, as I mentioned earlier, so you're going back over old themes that have already been investigated by you, especially since the beginning of the Saturn transit in the month of March 7th. With Jupiter, with Venus, the house lord of Jupiter's placement, sitting in the top of your sky at up there with Mars in your career space. This is good for your reputation, your visibility. You're kind of diva-like in the career space right now, really command performancing in some way amongst your colleagues, coworkers, or audience if you have one. Mars is making you ambitious, driven, and passionate. And that energy is in a condition of square to Jupiter, but it's really also just simply Venus is prioritizing the 10th house, and Jupiter's trying to help her do it. Right? So Jupiter says things like, from your 7th house of audience, client, and marketplace and legal contracts, how can I support your glow up in the visible career space? I just think I stalled out in my recording, and I got to reset my modem. This is happening more and more. So I apologize if that just happened. Also, because you have Saturn, because you have, brain went offline. Jupiter as the exaltation lord of your 9th house. For some of you, this can look maybe like an opportunity for some foreign travel or legal agreements coming through, especially if the word book publishing means anything to you, or academia, and maybe getting a contract for studying something you have a talent in and getting accepted at your favorite school, maybe things like that, June 14th to the 22nd. Or an opportunity for travel, especially to foreign lands. But because 2 travel houses, 3 and 9, are activated, one by Saturn and one by Jupiter's exaltation, some of you, this could be a window for travel on the 14th to the 22nd of June. All right. Saturn is really trying to bring you a stable romance. If you're looking for love, you're looking for one that goes a distance, maybe somebody 7 up to 6 to 7 years younger or older than you could step into your life between the 14th and the 22nd, especially with the South Node in the 1st house and the North Node with Jupiter in the 7th. Alrighty. All right. If you're in the live premiere, hit the like button. Let's get rolling. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. All right, so what happens is that Jupiter is in his once every 12-year journey through the house of work and sickness, your 6th house, karmic debt, pets, tenancies, rentals, and sometimes dating. I think that there's a lot to be said for Jupiter bonifying a difficult place. And so if you have been ill, you'll likely be better and find solutions. If you've been down in the dumps about work and career path stuff, that can also increasingly look better for you. And certainly addictions and self-undoing and bad habits can be 6-12 axis. You're south-noding away from some of them, north-noding into better habits for better health, and Jupiter is giving you a way into that. And this is something you'll be dealing with for a whole year until next May, 3rd week of next May. This is a time in the sky, which we haven't seen for 60 years, the Saturn is going to sextile that Jupiter, or they're sextiling each other. So Saturn is about, first of all, you could have an older person live with you, especially an elder parent, when this transit is ongoing for 3 years. But you can create a solid, new, stable foundation in your home life by what you do in and from your home, or this can be about building a new home, constructing a new home, or even a desire to find a new home that will be the long game home for you, the one where you want to retire out into or stay until your elder years. So because Jupiter is in a rentals house and Saturn's in like the property house, some of you may be looking at some rental opportunity coming through the 14th to the 22nd, but it'll feel very stable and very good. Like I feel like, oh, what a relief. This is a steady, cautious, but realistic possibility, and it looks good, feels good. Jupiter exalts your house of in mortgages, inheritances. Saturn's in a house of legacy wealth as well. So mortgages, inheritances, money from the family of origin could all possibly be significantly connected to the chart, especially money from an elder sibling, because Venus is a ruler of that, and she's working with Jupiter to bring things to you that are 9th house. Foreign lands, foreign tourists, travel, and academic environments, or book publishing. All of these have a Venusian agenda all the way through until October 9th. Jupiter's trying to help her with it from the 6th house because that's her house, and he's trying to please the mistress of the house. So you might get some yummy developments here regarding legal contracts, visas, book publishing deals or agreements, things to do with more satisfactory work environments, more in alignment with your truest purpose in life, those sorts of themes between the 14th and the 22nd. So Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. If you're a Capricorn, this is the movement of Jupiter every 12 years through the house of children, sexuality, romance, creativity, the muse, and independent business enterprise, and some of your natural talents. Jupiter will expand all of those things, and the North Node, especially until July 18th, increases his ability to do so, makes it more intense. And he's making this once every 60-year sextile to Saturn between the 14th and 22nd of June. And this is Saturn in the house of siblings, younger, but siblings in general. Saturn in the house of trips and travel, local neighborhood and neighbors, things to do with the online world, writing, communicating, websites, blogs, periodicals, and magazines. We can go on and on about the meanings of the third house. It is also scryers, diviners, and crystal ball gazers, the house of the goddess. So Saturn here is really trying to bring some reliable, realistic, and steady energy to something that needs to be steady and reliable. And he has been going through before that, Capricorn, your earnings house, trying to help you conserve, save, and produce better financial outcomes for 3 years before. Now it's about what those are going to be applied toward. The first guesstimate here is Jupiter in the 5th. Are you going to start your own business? Are you going to write a book? Are you going to consolidate a travel agenda with a romantic lover? Are you going to bring one of your children into some local neighborhood project that you're really into because you want to build something lasting over the next 3 years, like create your own bookstore or cafe or something? Jupiter will bring luck and money, especially gaming, lotteries, and windfalls like that. If you are playing any kind of those games, June the 14th and 22nd could bring a win. And that could also be connected to then an opportunity for travel. Because you have Venus in the 8th house of chunky money and payouts of chunks of money, I'm going to reiterate again the chance for either a stock to suddenly take off, a chunk of money to come your way, a tax rebate, etc., or a lottery win. Now, Jupiter North Node, is intense energy. If you're in a romantic love relationship, we're just talking like romance. Jupiter exalts the marriage house, and he's trying to stabilize something with Saturn. But Venus is in the house of shared resources and a tenser aspect to Jupiter. So watch for some tension around shared resources with a significant partner or romantic partner June the 14th, but even further till the end of the month of June. In the meantime, though, Venus is kind of bringing some chunky money love to you. And so look forward to that. I'm one of you, Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising sign. So what's going on, guys, is that we have that Jupiter transit that happens once every 12 years through the house of home, property, land, and real estate. He's there until May of next year. I actually sold a triplex back then and prospered from it in the last time this happened. So thinking back, 12 years, you can get a gist of it. But we're not doing the Jupiter through Taurus video. I have a separate one. I'm just reminding you of what that means. So Jupiter is going to bring you an expansive home, joyful home, bigger home, prosperity in and from the home. And North Node is even amplifying the goodness of it until July the 18th, or making the energy more intense at the very least. And Saturn here is in your conserving resources, possessions house. And he's really saying to you, it's time to be serious, to budget, to save, to be strategic, to lay a new blueprint, a foundation for your longer term next 30 years wealth strategy. And something good is happening then on the 14th and the 22nd, where you're seeing the light, or you're being given this masterful stroke of cautious financial stability, prosperity, but as it connects to home. So it could be a chance to buy a new home, to rent a new home, to rent a better home, to rent a great home, a financially lucrative rental opportunity. Why rental? Jupiter exalts your 6th house of rentals, tenancies, and rentals. So rent out or rent a home, possibly buy as well. You never know. But a lot of the energy is really focused on the 6th house energy. Venus, which is rentals. Venus is in the 3rd house, 7th house, and she's in the house of legal contracts, agreements, settlements, and vows, marriage and marriage partnerships. Because Venus and Mars are there together, and they never catch up, actually. She's chasing the man. But this can be a really hot time for any longer lasting relationships and partnerships to have more sexual sizzle. But also, we're saying that June the 14th to the 22nd, you're also encountering something that Venus wants on her agenda being served by Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter is definitely working for Venus. So It could be a contract or agreement regarding home, some kind of new expansion and prosperity from home to do with a significant relationship, business, and love partner. Or finally, hey, like me, if you're a YouTuber and you have an audience, marketplace, clients in the world, seventh house stuff, Venus is making June through to October one of the best times of your life, or like, growing expanding your luck in that area of your publicity, basically. And you can also say there's that glow up, and maybe it'll help you buy a better home, rent a larger home, afford a better home, but using caution and perseverance and steadfast realism with regards to what is affordable at this point in your life, or prudent in financial decision making. Anything else? Well, Jupiter is also the exaltation lord of your house of tenancies and rentals, if I didn't say it that way before, doubling down on what I'm trying to express as a super auspicious time. Also, to get a new pet would be very lovely at this time as well, if that at all is something that interests you, or to be able to maybe even pay off a debt in a simple chunk, or have money owed to you come back to you from the past. That's because Saturn is flowing to that sixth house from the second house of income or money flowing in towards you. First and always first, best and always best, Pisces. Just found out one of my girlfriends I had for dinner last night is a Pisces rising. I didn't know that. I knew I thought she was a Pisces sun. I'm getting surrounded by Pisces risings lately. So here we have, you think every astrologer knows every one of their friends' charts, but we don't. We try to keep work and play separate. So Pisces rising first, and then Sun and Moon second. So let's start with Saturn here, because Saturn is in the house of you for the first time in 30 years. And this is going to mean that between basically now and February of 2026, you're going through an extended connection with Saturn to make you more focused, determined, realistic, maybe feel tired, old, and crabby if you're not careful. I'm going to bring you down to more realistic endeavors, because you're transcendent anyway, and Neptune's been moving through the sign of your rising sign since 2011. It's an enlightenment transit, but it can make you spacey, spaced out, deluded, and illusions and delusions. You have to watch out for that. Escapism, drugs, and alcohol, all these things that have been happening to you since 2011. But it's also the transit of the mystic. And so the mystic in you is awakening. And Saturn is stabilizing your gains. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, let's stabilize this like mystical, transcendent, spiritual thing that you've been going through. And let's bring it some kind of legs to stand on, some duration and durability over time. So this is one of the ways Saturn is helping you in this next 3 years. And this time then, on the 14th to the 22nd, there is a 60-year rare Jupiter from Taurus sextile to Saturn. And Jupiter on the North Node is kind of really intense expansion energy. And it involves some kind of thing on the 14th or so to the 22nd. And it can start a little earlier than that, just so you know. It's kind of playing out even as early as the 10th. It's going to expand your opportunities in the third house. It could be travel opportunity, sibling related opportunity for things to do with your online world websites, things to do with your local neighborhood and neighbors, things to do with writing and communicating and all of that. So these are good third house themes that Jupiter is going to glow up over the next year till next May. So for writers, it's amazing transit. For online bloggers, periodicals, magazine people, for entrepreneurs who use the internet, wonderful energy. It definitely can be very good for mending fences with siblings, if there's any fence that needs to mend, younger or older, because Saturn rules the house of the elder sibling, 11th, but this can also be quite often the third, the house of a younger sibling. So we're going to go siblings in general. Big glow up here. Saturn will stabilize new a prosperity from anything that you are working on online or in the local neighborhood environment. Because Venus is the lord of where Jupiter sits, she's prioritizing sixth house matters and he's trying to please her. I'd say you'd be getting opportunities that are quite good at this time regarding things to do with work related to travel, work and travel opportunities. A travel opportunity that leads to work, a work opportunity that necessitates travel. If this is true, June the 14th and the 22nd, count your blessings. Your health can be better June through to October thanks to Venus transiting the house of sickness, but Mars can indicate attention here, like injuries, inflammation, cuts and burns. Be careful for the smaller things like that. Venus will make everything work out, like you fix the burn right away, but you don't need to like injure yourself. Mars is in his joy in the 6th house, and Venus is strong here, but Mars is, hot. And he's in fiery Leo. And so especially burns or inflammation like rashes, be careful of that until July the 10th. I do want to say that Jupiter is the exaltation lord of your 5th house of sexuality and romance. The cosmic lovers are actually in your 6th house of dating. It's like before you are married, which is the 7th, you get together with someone and date them, or get to know them before it's legally a wedding or a longer term, ring vow kind of vibe. So some of you, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, may experience a cosmic lovers tango heating up in a dating context on the 14th to the 22nd. And that could also be really about trips, travel, or a local neighborhood romance blossoming. The last thing I want to say is Saturn is not a bad guy here. You're going to leave this transit in 3 years and you're going to feel solid. You're going to feel mature. You're going to feel like you figured it all out. So be patient with yourself. It's hitting the Pisces 0 to 10 in 2023, Pisces 10 to 20 degrees roughly in 2024, and Pisces 20 to 29 degrees in 2025. You each have your turn. I'm addressing the rising sign particularly, but what I just said can apply to Sun and then Moon as well. Okay, well, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Thanks to all my regulars in the live chat. If you were there listening with me today, I appreciate you so much. And I will see you in the next video that comes out after this. I'm not sure the order, but you'll probably be catching wind of a video that's about Pluto square the nose from Capricorn to Aries Libra. That's going to be a big deal in July and August. And that video has been pre-recorded as of June 9th. And my Patreon community is already having that content available to them. So think about $5 a month, ad-free, early access, and 2 meetings a month with me. If you don't like it, you can exit out easily. It's not a hardship. I'm changing my Patreon strategy. There's a lot of perks and discount codes that won't be available next year. I have to change a lot of my strategies. My readings are too booked up. I need to increase my prices. I need to also figure out how to help the, 1,000 or 1,500 clients that are my repeat clients get in to see me. There's so many new people now. And so we'll be doing a whole new kind of readings availability structure in 2024. And right now my doors are completely closed and full. I think there might be a couple spots in September, but I don't think so. I think I'm all booked up. Sorry about that, guys. I'll be trying to figure out ways to make myself more available next year. But right now it's pretty full. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for helping my channel grow. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It all helps. Every little click of your finger makes a difference for algorithmic growth. Thanks, everyone. Take care.